I'm actually quite honored to be on stage with you. It's the first time I've been on stage with a representative from a decacorn. You guys are familiar with what a decacorn is? Everybody's chasing the billion valuation, which you guys got, I think, a couple of years ago. And just now, you announced that you raised $1 billion at 40 billion valuation. So, big round of applause for that, huh? And amazing, honestly. I mean, I'm holy shit. I mean, $1 billion. Like, you've got $1 billion in the bank. It's not like, woo, I'm chasing $1 billion valuation.
Yeah.
So now, as a good little boy, I actually wrote down all my questions to make sure I don't miss anything.
Sure.
So let's talk about the billion. I mean, come on, man. What are you going to do with that? Why do you deploy that much capital? So I want to look at it from two angles. One is from the corporate, the bigwig angle, and one is from MENA. So, what's the play on the corporate? Is there a Web3 crypto? I know there is. You're gonna have to be honest with us. And then in the MENA region, how are you deploying it? I know you're expanding. Where's the focus here?
Great. Thanks, Derek. Thanks for having me, and thanks to the guys at Step. So maybe just to give some context, Checkout.com is a leading payments provider. We essentially enable digital merchants to accept payments all across the world and all across this part of the world. Our mission statement is to enable businesses and their communities to thrive in the new digital economy. So $1 billion is definitely a big number, a lot of money, but there's a lot to do, right? If you look at payments, it's essentially trillions of dollars every single year, and the market keeps growing. There's crypto, as you said, that's coming up. So we really see ourselves, as our CEO says, at chapter 0. So every day is a new day. We have a lot of growth to go and capture. And we're really not building for our IPO. We're not building for the next couple of years. We're building for the next 15 years, next 20 years. There's tons of stuff that we have to go do. So globally, we're looking at new markets. US is a big one for us, really expanding in US, expanding in other places, new geographies, opening up new offices, new products as well. Here in the MENA region, Checkout.com is the leading payments provider. We've been here since 2014, so quite old now. Really know the market well. We cover 9 different countries.
Wait, did you just say quite old?
Quite old. 9 years. I mean, in the fintech world, that's quite old.
All right.
And so in the last year, we've actually doubled headcount, and we plan to double headcount again this year. So we're looking to grow to about 100 people. We have an office in Dubai. We are opening up a new office, a bigger office in Saudi, doubling down in Saudi. Pakistan also has an office. And we're looking at opening up more offices in certain countries and really doubling down on our staff.
BD, R&D, where are we going
so pretty much the way that we like to set up is that every single country pretty much runs on its own. So we have sales, operations, legal, marketing, finance, all the core functions to run the business. The actual stack is a cloud-based stack. But in terms of all the other supporting functions, they are pretty much run from the country that they're in. So just massive growth planned.
Great. So next one, since March 2020, I think we all know that business has changed, right? The way that we shop, the way that we interact with each other has changed. My wife says if I don't get a delivery daily, I go through withdrawal symptoms. I don't know if she's still here, but it's okay. It used to be once a week. Now it's like once a day. So how has this changed? How has the business scenario changed in that sense? The way business is conducted, and then how is payments playing into this? And then if you could just let me know, because I know there's a lot of transactions going online, if you could give us all a flavor of what sectors are you seeing really pop?
Yeah, so I think most people don't realize that if you live in this part of the world and if you're ordering a taxi, if you're getting food delivered, if you're ordering grocery, if you're buying fashion, most of those payments are probably going through us, right? So thank you for your business, by the way.
And you're very welcome.
Yeah, so so I think that COVID's been super interesting for us. So if you look at MENA as a whole over maybe a decade or so, digital payments were slowly ramping up. We had some benefits like skipping over the desktop, everyone going straight to their phones. but it was really COVID that gave us an amazing trajectory behind it. So we actually ran a survey, and we saw that right after COVID, and we saw that 53% of people who previously had not done shopping online actually started to shop online, and then we saw that an additional 75% of people actually plan to shop more online. So what's happened is that in this region we have a culture that's very connected to going to a mall and shopping in a mall, and we also have a lack of trust when it comes to making a digital payment. So there's a big cash economy here. And what we saw during COVID is that customers were left with no choice but to shop online, to get their food online, groceries delivered online. And then the great thing is that many of our merchants provide such great experiences that even after COVID eased some of the restrictions, consumers continue to buy on their phones and continue to shop with digital payments. So the trajectory is definitely up. It hasn't gone back down. And we kind of really think that this will kind of continue going forward.
Awesome. So you guys, speaking of this report, so you had a report that came out that basically said that you identified that MENA and Pakistan are outperforming the adoption of emerging technologies compared to Europe. So the rest, where we would think that this technology would be more adopted. Can you give us a little bit more insight into this? Like, what's driving it? How is it different here? Why do you think this region is adopting faster than, say, European space?
Yeah, sure. So when you think about a digital payment, you're thinking about a customer who goes and they pay with their credit card, debit card, a wallet. Apple Pay is another very popular payment method in this part of the world. And what's happened is that digital payments are how people pay today, and we really think that's how they're going to pay tomorrow as well. So there's been a lot of drivers behind it. Number one is that if you look at the MENA region, you have the GCC, which has a very high disposable income. So people spend a lot of money online. And you have massive markets like Saudi, Egypt, Pakistan, with just a very large population of people. They're very young, they're very digitally savvy, and they want these frictionless experiences. They really want convenience and simplicity. I think that's one. The second thing is that we've kind of seen all morning that the venture capital flow here is very high. There's been a lot of startups, a lot of investments flowing in, not only investments from some of the players here, but global investors are now starting to look at Pakistan and Egypt and some of the other markets. So there's money flowing in to help these companies scale. I think the third thing is that regulators are really changing their approach. So it's been quiet for some time, but over the last couple of years, if anyone's been in this region, we've seen that, in Saudi Arabia with Sama, here in this market, Egypt as well, there's been a lot of new licensing frameworks, regulatory frameworks that really enable fintechs to basically run businesses, to partner with banks, and really come up with brand new use cases for people to make payments.
Off the record, is Apple Pay a client, or are they?
So Apple Pay is a payment method that we offer. Checkout was actually one of the first players to enable Apple Pay, and most of our merchants have that. It's so easy to pay with, and you can just do a single click and just get through. Great.
So you've been here, so the company was launched in 2012.
Yeah.
You set up here in MENA in 2014,
Correct.
Only 2 years later. What were the challenges that the merchants, back in 2014 to now, right? Like, what are the challenges that the merchants are dealing with, and how has Checkout helped them overcome these challenges? A little bit of your sales pitch, like, this is your opportunity, please let us know. How are you helping?
Yeah, so what Checkout.com does is that we essentially enable merchants to offer all the relevant payment methods for every local market through a single connection. It means that if you want to expand as a business into Saudi, we give you the local domestic network, Mada. If you want to go into Qatar, we support the local payment schemes there. Kuwait, Bahrain, Oman, same thing. Egypt as well. Fari is one of the most requested payment methods that we're actually supporting. So the idea is that whenever each individual country in MENA, while it's exciting, gets a lot more exciting when you have the opportunity to scale across, because there's a lot of similar characteristics in all these different countries. So what we essentially do as Checkout.com is we essentially abstract all of the confusing parts, because payments is a very complex business. If a consumer lands on your app or comes to your website and they want to make a payment, if that payment fails, you've essentially lost marketing dollars, and a bunch of investments. So we want to make sure that you get a successful payment every single time, and that you don't have to worry about all of the legal stuff that goes around setting up a local company, figuring out how to configure your payments and connect to the domestic banks and all that kind of stuff. So we essentially abstract much of that stuff, helping our merchants scale across this part of the world. And as of late, we've had a lot of merchants who have expanded through us into Singapore, the States, and many, many other places.
Okay. Are you enabling the, the buy now, pay later sort of
Yeah, so
ecosystem?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I'm not sure if people here know, but Checkout was actually led the largest Series A, which was into Tamara, which is a leading buy now, pay later company here. Tamara is really exciting. We definitely love to partner with these guys. In the last year, they've actually onboarded 1,000 clients.
That was in Saudi, right?
Saudi and here also in the UAE.
Okay.
And they've done, they're doing 75% a month growth. So just like tremendous amounts of growth. And buy now, pay later is super exciting because number one, for the consumer, it really builds trust in a part of the world where customers want to receive physical good before they commit to making the full payment amount. And then for the merchant side, it really helps drive their top line.
Okay, great. So in early days, obviously, as any startup, I guess in 2012, it's hard to talk to you guys about or talk about you as a startup. But in those early days, obviously, getting the big names on board is critical. Now you got the billion raise behind you. It's a follow-on under this, like more because we're here sponsored by the Entrepreneurial Nation, right? Startups need these payment gateways, and it's hard because there's a lot of little startups and they're very, it's a lot of work. Trust me. Yeah, I know. And so, but are you guys opening a track for startups? Are you enabling this, making it easier for them, lowering the hurdle to get into using you?
Yeah. So look, we see ourselves as the fintech of fintechs. So most of the fintechs in this part of the world actually do process payments through us, whether that be a traditional fintech, a crypto company as well. And it's just because what Checkout.com does really well is that the actual stack that we have is really cutting edge. There's no one in this region who provides something of the similar quality. And that's one of the interesting things that we've seen. So if you look at merchants in this part of the world and startups also, they kind of really went from thinking about payments as a cost center to a revenue driver. So just they have a lot of elevated thought in terms of really demanding the best service. They really want data. They really want the ability to leverage their payments to actually capture more customers and to grow that business. And this is some of the changes that we've seen. So to answer your question, we definitely support fintechs, we support startups, and many of them are actually working with us today across the region.
Awesome. Look, I'm going to skip one. If we have a chance to come back to it, I will. But what I'm curious about is it doesn't matter how volatile the markets are now.
Yeah.
In cryptocurrencies, probably if I asked who has invested in cryptocurrencies, half the room will raise their hands. But look, it's part of the new digital economy, the future, right? Like cryptos are going to be there.
Yep.
So I presume you guys have built the rails basically from fiat into the different cryptocurrencies that are available. What else is there? What else are you guys looking to play in? I don't know if if the technology will enable it, but will you be able to drive the actual purchase of an NFT directly on the Ethereum blockchain, or where is this going?
Okay, so I was actually doing a panel earlier, and I was sharing with everyone that Checkout actually does process for many crypto and Web3 companies. We actually process for the exchanges and the platforms that do 80% of today's global crypto volume. So we are
80%?
80%. So we are the number one leader when it comes to this, right? And what we do is we essentially bridge from Web2 to Web3, enabling customers to use traditional fiat or dollars on their cards, and in exchange get crypto. And crypto can mean Bitcoin, Ethereum, stable coins, CBDCs, which are sort of also coming. So we are very bullish on the space. We think this is where the world is going next. We don't actually allow customers to pay with crypto, but that's something that merchants are definitely asking us about because there's a lot of value in crypto and customers want to spend with their crypto now as well. So we definitely have a long pipeline of stuff that's coming. We're talking about potentially settling merchants in stable coins, making it easier for crypto platforms, crypto startups to actually get crypto instead of being sent dollars and then converting that. And there's a bunch of stuff that we're planning in this space.
Awesome. Well, we look forward to see what you guys are coming to market with.
Thank you.
Our time is up, and the half German in me is like obviously starting to panic because we have to stay on time. But yeah, that's it. And really, really appreciate your time and the therapy session. I hope it was as good for you as it was for me. Thank you, everyone, and big round of applause for Mo and team. Yeah, thank you.